Victorians had rough and hard life, often ending up in the workhouses or early death. They had few luxuries, worked long hours, and lived in damp, filthy conditions. Outside of workhouses, child labor, unemployment, housing shortages, slum housing, overcrowding, poor sanitary conditions, homeless children, and various crimes were some of the problems that faced the lowest class in the Victorian era. The common woman in the Victorian era had to accomplish many obstacles to just live on the basic necessities that they need in everyday life. Them and their children constantly fought poverty. Unfortunately, because of the extreme poverty, some women had to sell their own children so that they all could have better lives. Many peasants become mentally ill by constantly being burdened by not knowing what's going to happen next. They all lived in a struggle, while the rich get richer. Middle-class tradesmen and merchants were bounded by work. The lower middle class consisted of small shopkeepers. To work, they needed to be literate, but no higher education was necessary. The tremendous expansion of the middle classes, in both numbers and wealth, created a huge demand for goods and services. The pound was strong, and labor was cheap. The upper middle class included Church of England clergymen, military and medicine, those at the upper levels of governmental services, and university professors. To both classes, education became increasingly important, and sons who were not sent off to elite boarding schools had the chance to go to local grammar schools, or they went to private schools with set curriculums. The middle classes were predominantly church-going, and most professional classes attended the Church of England. The middle classes needed servants too, and in 1900 almost a third of British women aged between 15 and 20 were in service. Domestic servants represented the largest class of workers in the country, and country houses. The typical Victorian housemaid came under the supervision of the housekeeper, and could fulfill a number of different positions such as chambermaid, parlourmaid, in-between maid, kitchen maid or laundry maid. Legislation in many countries makes certain living conditions, working hours, or minimum wage as a requirement of domestic service. In the morning you must rise at 6 o'clock and wash and dress. Your bed must be made, and you must be downstairs at work within half an hour of waking. Breakfast is served in the servants' hall at 8:15. You should clear the table afterwards, and wash the dishes. At 9:15 you must appear in a presentable state, attired in a clean apron, for morning prayers in the main hall. Your duties resume in the kitchen at 10 o'clock, when you must wash up all the dishes from the servants' breakfast, as well as the pans and kitchen utensils used in preparing both the servants' and family's breakfasts. Your duties as a maid continue on with tea time and with lunch. At 1 o'clock when you must begin washing up after the servants' dinner, and the family's luncheon. Providing your work is done, from 9:30 until you are required to go to bed, you may enjoy your leisure. Nonetheless, the work of a maid has always been hard, involving a full day and extensive duties. Chefs, maids, and nurses are the most helpful to their daily lives. At about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, a servant will help dress the wife. She will change his clothes at least 3 times a day. After getting ready, she will go into the dining room and meet her husband. Breakfast is made by the chef. The breakfast table was an opportunity to display the wealth of the estate, and the quality of ingredients produced on the surrounding land, and a chance to show off the skills of the cooks who prepared a vast selection of typical English breakfast dishes every morning. During the day, a wealthy woman will do a variety of hobbies including knitting, reading, writing letters to friends/family, dancing, etc. Although she has many different hobbies, her days usually consist of the same routines. The nightlife of wealthy Victorians consisted mostly of lavish balls and other social gatherings. The household wife would dress according to how wealthy her family was. The more elegant and desirable looking she seemed to be, the more it showed the family's wealth. Wealthy men chose a wife by how she acted, and how wealthy her family was. Most well-off men started every day by shaving, dressing, and reading the local newspaper. He then goes and eats breakfast with his wife, and later heads off to work. Their professions would normally include a doctor, lawyer, banker, shop owner, factory owner, or merchant. But his role in the family was ultimately to provide and protect his family,